Sit. Good job.
Okay, so we
better?
are 2:30.
2:30. All right.
No.
Mark.
Mark 2:30. Look at that. Tasty
Look at that.
timer. All right, Josh.
Sand castles.
No timers. Different.
Sand. I don't know what it was.
All right.
Welcome back to Jeff and Jash. Once again, Jeff can't be with us. Nathan, thanks for filling in.
You bet.
You have been a faithful filler-inner.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The positive feedback. There's so many people who are always confused, and I just tell them, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's just a busy man.
Yeah.
So hard to get a hold of.
And just as context, I think one of the questions I get asked frequently, besides what's this about, is who's Jeff?
Right.
Jeff is Jeff.
Yeah, it's Jeff.
So,
Why would you even ask
Yeah.
that? Who
Come on.
doesn't? Okay. Moving on from that.
yep. I just want to clarify, Jeff is Jeff.
Yeah. So I have something for you today. It's not a game. It's just a question that might turn into a debate depending on how we stand on it. But I was on the internet, and as I am on Reddit, and somebody posed this question that really got me thinking. And it is this, my dudes. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
And that's the discussion for the day.
I mean, we have plenty of stuff to cover as well.
Because we could expand this into other questions as well, like is cereal soup?
That's the other one. I had those too.
Okay.
Yeah, is cereal
Those are-
soup and is hot dog a sandwich?
Interesting.
I would say that a hot dog is not a sandwich, since technically it's closed at the bottom. It's only one piece of bread, not
So
two.
what would you say about a Subway sandwich?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
Or like a Firehouse sub?
Yeah.
Is a sub a sandwich?
yes.
So that's closed at the bottom usually, right?
Yeah.
Also, if a hot dog breaks at the bottom, which is like one of the worst things that can happen to a hot dog, does it remain a hot dog?
I don't know.
I would argue yes.
Well, because I feel like the point, like a Subway sandwich, if you cut all the way through the bread and it happens to not be closed, it doesn't matter.
still got a sandwich.
You still got a sandwich. Nobody's like inconvenienced by that.
Okay.
But as soon as you cut the bottom of a hot dog, it becomes the worst thing in the world because the hot dog bun no longer fills its point. Its
Okay.
purpose.
It still does, right?
I don't know.
Like, does that disqualify it from being a sandwich because all of a sudden, like, it's not ideal?
Yeah. See, here's my thought is I'm trying to think. If you were going to say, I want a sandwich, does hot dog enter your mind?
Never.
No.
No,
Exactly.
absolutely not.
So I think there's a difference there.
Right? But that's less like taxonomy, more public
Yeah.
opinion.
But like, is a burger a sandwich?
Yes.
No.
It's a burger.
A burger's a subset of sandwich, in my opinion.
Oh,
right?
that's so technical.
Yeah.
Because
Do
like,
we need to be that technical
if
about our food?
if a sandwich is 2 slices of bread with a filling, because I was gonna say if it has meat and vegetables, but like
then
a
that's a
peanut butter
PB&J.
PB&J does
Yeah.
not, right? So if it's just two pieces of bread, or if it's a sub sandwich, bread enclosing a filling. But then it's like if you define it that loosely, then like what's a calzone, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Or a hot pocket. I wouldn't say either of those are sandwiches.
Sure.
No.
Although that's more of a crust, I would argue.
True.
This is kind of a doughy.
And I would also say that you're really splitting hairs between definition and concept, you
Okay.
know, because like, sure, a sandwich by definition is maybe meat and inner like veggies and stuffings between 2 slices of bread, but like America has a concept about a sandwich that is embodied.
Yeah. You know, if I'm going to say like hamburgers and hot dogs are grill foods, they're not sandwiches.
That's a good point.
So
grill food.
you don't believe burgers are sandwiches?
No, I would say burger's not a sandwich either.
Interesting. Because I would.
Interesting.
What about a grilled chicken sandwich?
Grilled chicken sandwich. Well, the chicken is grilled,
Right.
but,
But you don't grill a bun on a hamburger always. I'd try to, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's just something where it's like, even a grilled chicken sandwich, the first thing I'm not thinking about is like a Sunday afternoon grill sesh with your homies.
I don't know what homies you're hanging out with, but I enjoy a good grilled chicken sandwich. What about like a Reuben?
A Reuben.
That's obviously a sandwich.
That's a
Yeah.
sandwich.
That goes on the grill.
Does it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never had a Reuben,
Totally.
honestly.
Oh, dude, you don't?
No.
What?
It's corned
know.
beef and sauerkraut.
I
Oh, that's why I've never had a
hate
Inside-
sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut's gross.
But the
Hate
Reuben
it.
is good, though. I hate it, too. You put it in a Reuben, though?
It's good.
I'll eat it all day.
Yes.
It's weird.
Really?
Let's try Reuben sometime. I'll get a Reuben. I'll bring it in. You can
We'll
have a bite
sample
of
it.
it. You don't have to buy a whole Reuben.
yeah, because I feel like
Especially
that'd
from
be
the Smiling
disappointing.
Moose.
Oh.
They make a bomb.
See, okay, maybe we could go this way. If a sandwich shop sells it, it's probably a sandwich.
Okay.
I've never been to a sandwich shop, like exclusively sandwiches, where they got burgers and hot dogs.
So what is a sandwich shop? Like the deli?
Like Smile and Moose Deli. Firehouse Subs, I would probably say.
Is a sandwich
could
shop?
be included in there. What's that place over by Albertsons?
Gandalf.
Yeah, Gandolfino's or
Finos?
whatever.
Gandalfos.
Gandolfo's.
Yeah.
They're a sandwich shop.
Yep.
Pickle
Subway.
Barrel.
Subway
Pickle
pickle
Barrel
barrel.
sandwich.
Johnny, no, what's the
Yeah,
There's
the
Johnny?
Freaky Fast.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jimmy John's?
Jimmy John's. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Jimmy
Johnny Greenos.
John's.
They're gone now.
Yep.
So, do any of those sell burgers and dogs?
No,
No.
Not sandwiches.
that's true. But
That-
the places
that's what-
that do,
yeah.
where could you buy a hot dog? I guess Polly's, but they're
Polly's.
exclusively
Yeah,
hot
hot
dogs,
dogs.
right? Where else can you get a hot dog
Costco.
in Bozeman?
Costco.
Dude, that's a point of. Did you hear about that?
Yep.
Costco
No.
dropped their $1.50 Polish dog.
No.
So you can only get the beef hot dog now. You can still
Really?
get the hot dog for $1.50.
They're not doing the Polish dogs.
But the
though.
Polish is
But
gone.
The Polish
They've
was-
replaced it with a vegan dish that has like tofu, soy, chicken, salad stuff.
That's
There was a huge
disappointing.
outrage about it. And Colin Moore, he always comes up on this podcast. I'm still not clear.
We're
if
gonna
I-
have him on here
I
one day.
don't-
We promise.
I don't know if we want to have him on the podcast.
Or
I
just
just think
talk
we need
about
to
him.
feature content with him. He is a loose cannon, and I have no idea what he was saying. But he got the very last Polish dog the Bozeman Costco served.
Wow.
Really?
The last one ever. So that's pretty legendary.
That is legendary. That's kind of disappointing. I love their Polish dogs.
I honestly didn't know the difference between the regular beef hot dogs and the Polish dogs.
Well,
I guess there's just
neither.
more flavor in the Polish
Yeah.
I
dogs.
would just mix it up
Infuse
each time I went.
Spices.
Be like,
I think the
hey,
Polish dog has a bit more spices and maybe like some sausage.
It's more of
on
like
there
a
instead of
brat.
just beef. Yeah, it's kind of like a brat style sort of beef hot dog.
Either way,
You know.
you can still get the hot dog for $1.50. That would be sad if they completely took that off
Oh,
the
dude.
menu.
Yeah.
Because that's like suspiciously cheap. Like when I cook food, I think it's usually around that per meal.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's a wholesale place, so they're
they're-
probably
yeah.
barely making a profit on that. I'd imagine because that comes with the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It does.
who knows? Anyways,
Anyway.
but the
But yeah,
debate
you
though,
know, if you go to a sandwich shop, you're not going to find hot dogs and hamburgers.
right? But those are specialty shops. Like if I go to a like Polly's, right? They specialize in one type of food.
Yeah.
You said it's grill food, right? That's the overall category.
Sure.
But I can't get a burger at Polly's because they're a specialty
Sure.
shop. So I feel like, delis specialize in deli sandwiches,
Okay.
which I would say if we want to throw a subcategory under sandwich, there'd be like a deli sandwich, sub sandwich, two different types of sandwiches. I would say a hamburger is its own classification of sandwich that's like really specialized.
Yeah.
And then possibly a hot dog. I'm kind of on the fence about
I
that.
would
still
say no on a hot dog.
I'm still not even convinced about.
Because you put
Burgers.
condiments and vegetables on a hot dog. Same with a sandwich.
I think the definition here, the difference here between the groups is like the definition form versus societal
Yeah.
usage of the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I'm like, if you walk up to, how many people are, like let's say we're in New York doing a random film sesh,
Yeah.
just on the streets, walk up to random
So
strangers.
fun. Oh, I don't know. I might get stabbed.
Yeah. You gotta be careful. How many people are gonna say, yes, hot dog's a sandwich? How many people are gonna say, no, hot dog's not a sandwich?
We need to try this.
We're going to New York.
Yeah, I think that there's a difference between like, would you look insane for using it as using that term versus like, is it on a very
Technically?
thin technicality?
Oh. And well, if we're going with very thin technicalities, I don't really give a hoot, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, because I think even though I am kind of leaning towards hot dog is a sandwich, I would never call it one.
Yeah.
Just because that's crazy.
Yeah,
talk.
it's like, what are you having for lunch? I'm having a sandwich. Oh, what kind? Hot dog. And everyone's like, you're crazy.
To be fair, I call pieces of paper slices of paper, which Madison hates.
Slice
That's
of paper.
awesome.
I do.
Also gum.
Oh,
A slice of gum.
Stick of gum.
No, it's a slice.
It's a stick.
It comes from a loaf of gum.
It does not come from a loaf.
So does paper.
oh, okay.
I don't call them trees. I call them paper loaves. I'm just kidding. I don't.
Look at these giant paper loaves today. They're beautiful.
I actually did call reams of paper loaves for a while, but since it's all separate slices, I guess a loaf
it's
of bread
like
is-
sliced bread,
comes in
you
a
know,
bag.
it's the best
Anyways,
thing.
just slice is the only thing that stuck to the point where when it sounds completely normal to me, like
To say slice of paper.
when like piece of paper, slice of paper in my head is completely interchangeable.
Okay.
And I'm only reminded how weird it is when I say it around
out
someone
loud.
who's never heard me say that before. And they're like, what? So
That's
anyways.
probably what would happen if you said I'm making a hot dog sandwich today.
Right.
See, when you say hot dog sandwich, I think of like, okay, is that somehow 2 hot dogs?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to make something out of multiple hot dogs.
Yes. Or even
Versus-
grilled cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. There's what was that place we went to in Portland that sold a burger that
it was some
the
like
buns were grilled cheese?
Ooh, that sounds good.
food truck that just sold
So good.
amazing
You would probably die.
heart attack
That's okay.
inducing.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So, but then I guess cereal being soup, kind of same thing.
Yeah, it's still just like, you think of soup. Cereal's not the first thing that comes to mind.
To be perfectly honest, I think you could make a case that it's not even technically.
Yeah.
So if you said soup was just something that is like a liquid with possibly particles in it that you could eat, which sounds really unappetizing when you say it like that. I think that soup. Can you guys think of a type of soup that is never served hot? Because I can't.
No.
There's
And
a
so-
tomato-based soup.
But
serve
it
That is
could
served
be
cold.
served hot, right?
Yeah, I suppose
I think
so.
soup has to have the ability to be served hot.
And cereal would be disgusting.
And nobody does they use the term hot cereal for oatmeal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Which is not
our
soup.
yeah.
No. It's
Or is it? Is it more of a stew?
No, it's homogeneous in nature. It is not a stew.
Yeah, and I also think that part of it too is that the particulate doesn't have to influence the liquid, right?
Yeah.
In a soup, that's usually what you want. Chicken noodle soup, the soup liquid takes on the flavor of the particulate or the solid. And then in cereal, it's nice when it does. You know, you got your chocolate milk at the end if you've
heck
had,
yeah, Cocoa Puffs,
Cocoa Puffs.
for the win.
but it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you wouldn't drink,
I
like-
almost think my mind when I thought of it was like cereal would be like saltines in tomato soup, where you got a bowl of something, in this case milk.
Yeah.
Although I don't pour my milk first. Don't worry.
Thank you. You're not a psychopath.
But that just kind of enters my mind as like,
Yeah.
you get your tomato soup and then you crumble a ton of saltines.
Like you
in
had
there.
something dry to it.
Yeah, and you soaks it up kind of, and that's kind of what cereal is.
That's a
But
great
it's like,
point.
Then is milk soup? It's like, of course not. It's
No.
milk. Milk is milk.
And I would also submit that most forms of soup have some kind of vegetable.
Yep.
You've got like tomato soup. All stews have vegetables. Even like potato soup. They've got potatoes.
Chicken noodle soup, you have carrots and celery in
Yeah.
a traditional chicken noodle soup.
Right.
So you got to include the veggies.
That's true. Plus, I think another distinction too is that the solid matter within soup is okay being completely soaked.
Yeah.
Right. Like with cereal, if it sits too long and the solid matter gets
Just
too wet,
too soggy.
yeah, you
Soggy
kind of want to
cereal's
eat it.
It's unpleasant.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement on cereal's not soup.
It's just a hot dog thing, man.
Hot
That's-
dogs are not soup.
Not,
the edge.
not sandwiches.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Nathan, you're for hot dogs.
I'm
or
leaning
sandwich?
towards hot dog as a sandwich on a technicality.
Okay, Madison and I for sure. Austin, you haven't said a whole lot.
I'm leaning towards it is a sandwich.
It is okay. These two say it is a
of a
sandwich. These two
style.
say not a sandwich.
Like a style sandwich.
Like
I think I'm the strongest. Not because like burger sandwich.
It's borderline for me. I would
Borderline.
lean towards no.
Okay,
yes.
it is
Absolutely.
it is. See, and I'm like a strong no. Burger's not a sandwich. But I have no justification for why it's just no. It's not a sandwich.
Sure.
It's just a burger.
Like, is there a point at which something is so specialized in its like
That's
master
what I would
category
think
that
of.
it is no longer?
Because I mean,
it,
think
like,
about all
branches
the
off.
different kinds of burgers you can have.
Yeah, like it's a burger is such a specialized sandwich that it's even weird to consider.
It's just
a sandwich.
you've just got burgers, and then like, well, what kind of burger do you want? Do you want a breakfast burger? Put an egg on it. Do you want a barbecue burger with those really good onion straws
Right.
and barbecue sauce and bacon?
Although I'd argue you have the same level of options with like a sub sandwich.
That's true.
It's like, do you want a meatball sub?
Yeah.
Do you want a
So,
veggie sub?
but you still call it's a sub sandwich. Like, do you want a burger sandwich? It's like these are burgers.
True.
They're all just burgers, and it's almost like you can get really specialized with hot dogs too.
That's true.
Like Polly's is
Or like a
proof
Coney
of
dog
that.
or-
You can like, do you want 1.5 million things on your hot dog? Do you want just sauces on your hot?
Just sauces?
just sauces.
Wow.
I don't know why. It's so,
Where in the world is Josh from this week?
And
nobody knows.
I would also say that you could do like the same comparison for like different kinds of sweets.
Like what?
Like you've got your pastries, and within those pastries you have like danishes, which are supposed to be like something very different from something like cookies.
Is a cookie a pastry?
I actually don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. My point is like, I feel like I don't know my pastries well enough, but I feel like if you talk to a chef and you tried to compare two types of pastries that they specialized in, they'd be like, they're not the same thing. Like I make them very specifically, very differently.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure. So just like this idea extends to other things other than the
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah. Is I guess my point.
Yeah.
So it depends on how broad of a term you want sandwich to be, I guess.
Yeah. That's true. Is it weird to consider mac and cheese pasta?
No.
It's so specialized in my mind that it's
Yeah,
almost
it's
weird.
just
that
mac
it's
and
like,
cheese.
Like someone says pasta, I don't think mac and cheese. I think,
Right.
You know,
Honestly,
the
I'm gonna
rigatoni
start
or-
thinking like Alfredo sauce.
What about
which isn't
lasagna?
cheese.
Is that pasta?
Oh, it's a pasta dish.
Okay. Boy, man, this
Guys,
is
it's getting
just a
real
different
close
form
to
of
lunch.
pasta.
There we go. We're having a good time.
sand
talking
timer
about
ran out.
Did.
And what time did we start? 3 minutes in?
Yeah.
So it goes about 15 minutes.
it. Okay, sand timer goes about 15 minutes, everyone. Just keep that in mind.
So we have about 5 minutes to wrap it up.
Great.
Cool.
It's
I don't
helpful.
know. Yeah, it is helpful. I think that, I don't know. Yeah, I guess too, it's just like, I feel like there's people out there who get way too caught up in technicalities.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like, they have to be correct.
Yeah.
Or correct
Yeah.
people about it. And it's like, just live your life, man. If you want to call a hot dog a hot dog, go for it.
Though I would say,
If you want to call a hot dog a sandwich, everyone's going to look at you.
Or
weird,
I mean, a
but-
Yeah.
sandwich, yeah. If
I
you want to call a
also
hot dog, please do, because that's what it is.
yeah. It's like, what else are you going to call a hot dog?
like think about it. I think also like if you were explaining it to somebody who was just learning English, if they were holding a hamburger and they're like, "Oh, a sandwich," you'd say, "No, it's a burger."
Would you?
True. I would.
I would. If they're like, "I'm gonna go get a sandwich," and they go to McDonald's and get a burger, you're like, "Oh,
You
do you
didn't
mean a
get
burger?"
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you would call it potentially, but what is the category is that in?
The
Like-
burger category.
I would still call a hot dog, not a sandwich. But what is the overarching theme of this food?
Hot dog.
Is it? So it just has its own little category.
I think hot dog's its own category.
It's its own
You
species,
have
if you
sandwiches
will.
and
Yeah.
soups and pastries
Maybe
and
we need a-
hot dogs.
You know how we've got like family, genus, species kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
For
We need
food?
a bigger family name for sandwiches and burgers and hot dogs than sandwich.
We should define how those
We
roles
could do
work.
that for
Family,
food.
We could do this
foodly genus, species.
domain, phylum.
We just replace it all with foods like phylum. Technically, the term is actually hamburger sandwich,
Get
which is
out
like
of
a sandwich
town.
from Hamburg, Germany.
I'm
So,
not buying it.
Yeah.
No, it's
you
changed.
Are. You will
It's
buy
changed.
a hamburger someday.
Yeah, totally different. I'm
So,
not doing it.
America has changed the word,
Yeah.
just like we make words all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Well, there we
yeah.
go.
I mean, obviously you can Google something and find whatever
Yeah.
results you want.
Right.
So,
But could you Google Google hot dog and
is a hot dog a hamburger?
no, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Or
It's not a hamburger. I think that's I hope
didn't
we'd all
sleep
agree.
much this week.
No, it's not.
my wife was gone all week, and I don't do well when I'm left to my own devices. I was up way too late. Ooh,
What you got, Google?
USA Today. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Council rules once and for all. Yes, the classic. This is a big article. National Hot Dog and Sausage Council.
You're kidding me.
Our verdict is
Spoof.
okay. According to the council, quote. Here we go. I'm reading this for the first time. Our verdict is: a hot dog is an exclamation of joy, a food, a verb describing one showing off, and even an emoji. It's truly a category unto its own. Limiting the hot dog's significance by saying it is just a sandwich is like calling the Dalai Lama just a guy. Perhaps at one time its importance could be limited by forcing it into a larger sandwich category, no disrespect to Rubens and others. But that time is past. NHDSC, the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council president and Queen of Wien, Janet Riley, says in their release.
Wow.
Okay, so they're
Queen of Wien. That's what it is. I read that wrong.
W-
Talking about hot
like
dogs.
wieners.
So honestly, I think that this might be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that one is pretty biased.
National Hot Dog and Sausage Council doesn't want to be considered a sandwich,
There you go.
but that's
Well-
what they said. It's not a sandwich; it's an exclamation of joy.
Well, like when you're like hot dog.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
So there we go. Hot dogs. Don't know if they're sandwiches or not. I'd still say no. All I do know is on the 4th of July this year,
yeah,
this famous food eater, I can't remember his name right now, it's drawing a blank, Joey Chestnut.
Yes.
Joey Chestnut broke his world record of 72 dogs by eating 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Which he is now the most decorated American athlete,
Goat.
quote unquote.
Greatest
he has
of all
11
time.
championships, like world championships.
Yeah, greatest
which
of all time.
He just passed one of the NBA players. I can't remember who.
Yeah.
Who's the most decorated NBA
Was it
player?
Bill Russell?
Bill Russell, yes.
Was it?
He just
Okay.
passed Bill Russell as the most decorated American
So there you go.
athlete.
Joey Chestnut,
Athlete.
greatest athlete of all time.
Which we could get into that whole thing. Is
Yeah.
that a sport? Is golf a sport? I don't want
Let's
to open that.
not.
can of
I don't
worms,
want to.
But
Plenty of debates.
If
for
we're
future
comparing
podcasts.
like golf to food eating,
Nope.
golf is a sport.
We're
Because
we
food-
gotta
we gotta wrap
not
it
we
up.
gotta not do
We
this.
never even established food eating as a sport, so that premise
Discussion
doesn't
for
work.
another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. So I think that's pretty close to. Wow, we're just creeping up on 20 minutes there.
Well, hot dog.
So yeah, maybe we'll wrap this one a little early. Give
Yeah.
the people a break.
Great.
If you are interested in listening to us outside of YouTube, there are links in the description for our Apple Podcasts and Google Play, as well as our website, jeffandjosh.net. You can listen to the podcast a day early there if you wish, and then possibly buy some merch. And also look out for us on Spotify. We'll be there soon, I think.
I hope.
I don't know. Working on it. So anyways, thank you for joining us, and we will be here next time.
Hot dog.
Appreciate you.
I'm saying it too much now. That was, I'm sorry, everybody. You don't have to listen to this.
You should be. You know, I keep having to remind myself we're not forcing people to listen to this. So anybody here is volunteering. It's voluntarily here.